You are now listening to the Artsindy Crossroads show. Here, Martin Garrow, Stargate Atlantis.
Nick, and if you personally keep supporting the film like you have, then it'll all go great. So thanks again.
Jarrod,
Voice of Optimus Prime.
transform and roll out.
Ruth Moody, the Wailing Jenny.
You're so welcome. Take care.
Karen LeBlanc, the star of Nurse, the fighter boy.
Hi, Nick. I'm really good, and thank you for asking
People in film, theater, music, the arts.
I like your Instagram style because it's casual, and it's real, it's down to earth, and it suits Hastings Street right here, right now.
Good early evening to everyone here in the Valley. You're listening to Civil Radio 101.7 FM, broadcasting to the Fraser Valley from the UFV Abbotsford campus on the traditional and unceded territory of the Stolo people.
On today's show, we have an interview with Jarrod Tyler. He talks all about his documentary, Road to Twin Peaks, the Northern Bend story. And interview with musician Steve Stone. He talks all about his gig happening this November 24th on a Saturday at the Flamingo in Surrey. Listeners, right now we are on the line with, I knew him in another life, but Jarrod's produced a documentary and hosted, narrated a documentary,
Road to Twin Peaks, North Bend story. It's basically about the town of North Bend where they filmed Twin Peaks, season 1, 2, 3. So we were down there for a few weeks just, filming. You'd be amazed what we came into contact with. Yeah, it's a fun time. Good times.
A lot happens down there, Twin Peaks, eh?
Down in North Bend? Yeah, sure.
Yeah, it's kind of not on pop culture consciousness right now, Twin Peaks. There was actually a show on it once, but there's kind of funny things that happen there. Can you fill us in on that? Sasquatch sightings?
Yeah. I mean, it was funny because it wasn't until after it was already produced and it was already out. It was sort of like, then I realized, no one's going to get this. Like, unless you're like into Twin Peaks, nobody's going to get this. Probably you won't. Like, unless you are really a fan of the show. You're going to wonder, like, why are they going into that cafe? Why are they standing out here in the middle of the forest? Like, they're not going to get it, right? So really, without doing it consciously, I kind of made this film that, specifically geared towards kind of a niche group, which, I don't know, it kind of occurred to me afterwards. I guess that doesn't really answer your question. Your question is what happens down there? Well, you kind of have to watch the film to really get that. I mean, I can give you some highlights. Like, for instance, there was a Bigfoot hoax back in the 1970s down in the valley there in Washington. Okay, so
I kind of believe in them. So you're saying they're a hoax?
Well, no, there was a hoax. There was a guy who actually, Al Chiclaro's his name, and he actually had a broken foot, and then he had like a parachute wrapped around his foot, because like he didn't want the cast to get wet because he was a surveyor, right? So he was out in the woods, and people saw this footprint and they thought it was Bigfoot, right? So I mean, he had a bit of fun with it and then started actually making prints, but I mean those were just in one region, right? So like any that were found outside of that region, he had nothing to do with them. But still, he kind of kicked off this whole hoax. Is it a hoax? I don't know. I mean, a lot of people down there told us, man, we heard all kinds of stuff. We heard about UFOs. We heard about Bigfoot. We heard about ghosts, spirits in the woods, just all sorts of crazy stuff. It was really hard to believe, actually.
You produced this documentary over what time frame, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, we conceived it. I was down in Los Angeles in July. I was just playing some shows with the band there, and then I was like on my way up, Michael called me. And I know Michael from way back, and his father was the mayor of Twin Peaks, actually, during the filming of the TV show. So he said, well, why don't you guys stop in North Bend on the way up, and, we can hang out. And So anyways, we did that, and then we came up with this idea that, we should do a documentary about North Bend, about the town, and just, that the town is kind of stranger than the show. And so we got some really good interviews. We got some, probably over the course of, I guess, maybe like a month and a half maybe.
Oh, well, that must have been a lot of fun. So you talked to people all over town, like.
Yeah, I talked to Dave Batty, the local historian. I mean, this guy knows everything there is to know about the Snoqualmie Valley. Several other people too. Some interviews didn't make it in. Some people they gave the interview, they signed the release, and they were like, you know what? I don't want this going out into the universe. So, we couldn't put some in. But, it took about a month and a half. It was good. We were out there in the woods, and I don't want to give it away, but I kind of want to tell you. It doesn't matter if I give it away, does it? I mean,
it's your call.
Okay, I'll tell you. So, everything that we talked to people about pointed towards this energy out in the woods, this strange energy. Even like the chief of the Snoqualmie tribe, this guy even said, you know what? The Honorable Chief Andy de Los Angeles. He even said, there's energy spots out there. There's things, So we realized we had to go out into the woods at some point. And so we did, and we took all these old surveying maps because we were going to trek way, way deep in where, where there's trails and logging roads that people haven't used in who knows how long. So we went out there with these surveying maps and a compass because, you actually, a lot of those places out there, you don't get the signal, so you're not going to have GPS. So we actually got lost. And I was navigating. I had the compass, so I guess it's my fault. But we got lost, me and the crew. And then we wound up having to spend the night in the bushes, like in the woods. Like deep in the woods. It's hilarious. It was like there's stuff like circling the camp in the middle of the night. Yeah, I wasn't too worried. One of the... what was that beeping? What is that?
I don't hear it. Hello?
You didn't hear a beeping there?
No.
Okay, weird. I just heard some strange beeping.
Is it still there?
No. It was just like 3 beeps, 4 beeps. So anyways, yeah, so
but
that was what happened to us.
No, it's hello? Jarrod, are you there? Can you hear me?
Sorry about that. I lost battery.
Jarrod, I was just a little curious. Did your brother help you out in this production for this documentary?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay.
I had a lot of help actually. I had people. I was fortunate enough to have people help me. Last documentary was really sort of. It was a little tough because, it was like me and like 2 other people, but this time I had some good help.
How many people are in your team?
Fluctuate. I mean, it was just people I knew around the area, so it would be like one day I'd have 4, one day I'd have, maybe I'd have 2, one day there was like 5 of us when we trekked out into the woods. But, I don't know if you're a Twin Peaks fan, but, you kind of have to be a fan for for this film to make any sense to you. You probably have to be a fan, and I didn't even realize that at the time. Like I thought I was just making a cool film, but then I realized after someone said, like most people aren't going to understand this because it's real niche. It's really, not everybody. So, excuse me. So, I don't know. I mean, I hope it's intriguing enough for people who aren't fans, but at the same time, I think it'll help if you are fans. So,
what cameras did you use, if you don't mind me asking?
We shot it all on a flip phone. All on a flip phone, the whole thing.
Really?
Then we edited it in YouTube. No,
Oh.
I'm kidding. We used a bunch of different ones, but I'll tell you something. It was shot on old school, like 1990s equipment. I had the option to use digital. I had the option, but I was like, you know what? I love the old 90s documentaries like Nick Broomfield and all that sort of thing. So I was like, let's use what he used. So we got these actual, like we're using the same camera that like Nick Broomfield used for his documentaries, like his older stuff in the 90s. So actually this one looks like a 90s documentary. right? Venerating the 90s, always. So that's one thing. And I like the look of it, too. It looks like film. It looks like grainy film, right? So
Yeah, that's cool.
kind of a bitch to transfer and to edit some of it, but very cool when you look at it at the end. I hate these, like, HD. Like, everything's HD now, and it's I don't know. I kind of like the old film look. I was actually going to do it in black and white, but then you miss out on some of the colors, like when we went to visit Tweed's Cafe, which in the show was called the Double R Diner. We did this zoom out from the sign, and just, the colors were too nice, so we just left it color. We left the whole thing color.
The cinematography must be pretty amazing at times. Like, what I mean, it must be a really nice place, Twin Peaks, the landscape and everything. But just, I know certain times of day, like the sun setting, or that's kind of cliche to ask. I mean, the sun setting, coming up in the morning.
Sorry, what's the question? Is it nice? Is it a nice sunset?
Were there times that Mother Nature was on your side and you went to film something, but holy cow, this scene is more amazing because look, the sun's coming down. Right?
There was a couple times when it was raining where we had to go out with sort of like umbrella-ish sort of things and tarps and stuff. But like when we went into the woods, we had to actually stop shooting at one point because it just started like torrentially. It was like a deluge in the forest suddenly, and so we kind of we rode it out, and then once it stopped raining, it was too dark. So then we figured, like I said, we got lost in the forest, right? So then we had to stay overnight, and by the time the rain stopped, it was already like dark. It was already night. So then we didn't bother filming. We figured we'd just pick it up the next day. But then we heard all of this, like, I don't know what it was. It was like something circling the camp.
Oh,
Yeah, it was. No, and it was funny because one of the guys is like, so is this going to be like a found footage thing where someone's going to attack us, like a bear is going to eat us, and then they're going to find this footage? And what if they don't find it? Like, what do we do all this for? And anyways, like whatever was circling, at one point I thought it was human because it sounded like steps.
Oh, yeah, you're serious? Because a lot of people say that, and then they smell something, and then, well,
I didn't smell anything. It was more like I heard something.
Then it's 8 to 10 feet tall, and then you know who that is, Bigfoot.
No, it wasn't Dennis Rodman. It was I think it was probably maybe a deer. I mean, if it was a bear, it would have attacked. It would have eaten us. And
what, a grizzly? Are there grizzlies up there? Yeah, I'm sure there are.
You know what? I'm sure there's all kinds of stuff going on up there, but nothing would surprise me. That's what I'm going to say. Nothing would surprise me about that region, the North Bend Snoqualmie region. It's a very odd region. I think there's energy. I think there's a strange energy there. I think it's like, if time's affected by gravity, like the fabric of time, if what they say is true, then maybe there's a strange gravitational. I don't know. I have no idea. I've tried to rationalize it scientifically, metaphysically, intellectually. I can't make sense of it. Even after doing the documentary, I cannot make sense of that region, right? So, I don't know. I think I answered a lot of questions, though. That's the thing. I think I answered a lot of questions, but the big questions, I don't know if I did. I think those are probably unanswerable.
Jarrod, do you think you've changed a lot through this whole experience doing this documentary? Because you learned a lot. You interviewed a lot of people, and then some kind of perspective you had before probably changed a little bit. So do you feel different? That's kind of cheesy to ask. Listeners are probably laughing too. But Jarrod.
Well, it's just you reach another plane of enlightenment, I guess. But like when I went down there, I didn't really know much about the place. Like my good friend Michael, he's been telling me about it for years, and I've gone down to visit him a couple times. But this is the first time we actually dug in and really. I mean, we talked to. There's so many things that we did, actually. Like, for instance, he invited me over to this remote location in the woods to check out a box that had belonged to this lady named Margaret Smoiver, and she had died in the mid-'80s, and she had left her estate to Michael's parents. And so they had an estate sale, and it just happened that the Twin Peaks Fire Walk With Me people, they bought almost everything from that estate sale as set deck for the movie as well as the show. So basically, he had what was left over in this box, stuff that potentially was set deck, but they didn't buy the stuff, but it was from the same collection. So we looked at this box, and there was photos from like the 20s in there. It's just insane. And I mean, that's not only is that real Twin Peaks history, but that's real North Bend history. I mean, it was a very valuable scene, and it was as simple as going through this box with artifacts. So, when you see something like that, you sort of get more of a feel for the region and the people. There was also another scene that we did where we went up to Leicester, which is like a ghost town, but you got to hike up to it. But just like the light wasn't very good, and it's kind of unusable. So, but that was a really good scene. Learned a lot about the region. Yeah, it was educational, but did it change me as a human? I don't really think so. Probably on some level, but not really consciously. I mean, I'm still kind of the same jackass I ever was.
Yeah, that was kind of a cheesy question. I'm a cheesy guy.
Well, listen, I should run, man. But like seriously, man, I really like talking to you. I think it's good that you're back on Civil. I think it's good, and call me anytime you want, man. I'll tell you whatever you want to know. As far as the documentary goes, I don't really know what else I can tell you. It's like I would just say, like anyone listening to this, I would just say, if you're a Twin Peaks fan, okay, you really want to see this movie because it's we delve really deep into a lot of things that you would have never known about the town. Probably even some things about the TV show you wouldn't have known. So,
Jarrod, so the documentary is done. It's on YouTube. Jarrod, did you want to give people links to?
You know what? You can go onto YouTube and just type into the search "Road to Twin Peaks: A North Bend Story." That's all you got to do. Or just visit my YouTube listening page, and you'll find it's there.
That's Road to Twin
Peaks: A North Bend Story. Or, if you want, just go to jarrodtyler.com, go to the blog section, bang. It's right there. It's like the first link.
Listeners, there you have it. Links to the documentary, which was produced, directed, edited. A lot of interviews done by Jarrod in this documentary, narrated. Check it out, Twin Peaks. And Jarrod, yeah, when you have time to talk again, we have to. I want to watch the documentary again because I'm sure I could have delved a lot deeper into it. We just had some issues setting up the phone line and kind of got sidetracked.
All right. Well, thanks for having me, man. I will talk to you soon. Just keep me in the loop, man.
No, yeah, we gotta talk again, and I'm gonna watch the documentary again. I guess you gotta go. You're in your car, and
yeah, I gotta go, man. But let's talk again soon.
Okay. Take care, Jarrod. Awesome.
All right, homie.
Okay.
Take it easy.
Peace.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Right now, listeners, we are on the phone, on the line with Steve Stone, who will be performing at the Flamingo in Surrey, Whalley, this coming November 24th.
November. It's a Saturday, November 24th. I'll be playing guitar, his interpretations of various covers, and he's calling the project right now. It's called the Mechanical God Project, and we're putting a band together for this particular night. We just played the Heart of the City Festival actually this afternoon.
Oh, how was that?
It was so much fun. The Caveman Cafe in downtown there at Tinseltown in the downtown east side is so much fun. And I'm telling you, man, we didn't have time to have any food there, But it was a fun day, the Heart of the City Cafe, and that was at the Caveman Cafe. I think
Oh,
they,
okay.
yeah, look them up online, and I'm sure they'll have a link. I saw several people video taping with their filming with their cell phones on Pender. That's correct, 88 West Pender.
Okay, just along Tinseltown.
Yeah.
Man,
Yeah.
that must have been a lot of fun. Do you know, is the Heart of the City Festival ending, well, this interview will be airing Tuesday, so this past Sunday?
I guess so. Yeah. So it'll be this is sort of the wrap up day of the wrap up weekend of the Heart of the City Festival. But yes, man, the Flamingo on November 24th, the Mechanical God Prod. Come on out! It's going to be amazing. I don't know what the cover's going to be, but well, I'm sure I can get you on the guest list, anyways, brother.
November 24th. That's
a Saturday.
Oh, okay. Yeah, if you can get me on the guest list, that'd be awesome.
You got it.
So you kind of have a history with the Flamingo, but this is the new Flamingo.
This is the new Flamingo, so I'm looking forward. I'm going in there with fresh eyes. My history there is my history there, but those were different days. I mean, that was a whole different rock and roll scene that was going on then, eh?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Do you have what's your opinion like? Because Wally, like Vancouver, has been gentrified a lot, and that whole block, that whole area, you got the Ponchos, you got the Flamingo, and the Bird. Bird has features bands over there now. So, what's your opinion on what they're doing? Like, I hear they have corporate events in Ponchos right behind Flamingos, which used to be a country bar, but the direction they're taking and your opinion, where it's going, where do you think it's going?
Well, you know what? To be honest with you, like I said, my history out there with playing those bars, since the 1980s, I guess, too, in that area, too, the 80s and the late 80s and the early 90s. Way back when the Dell used to be there as well, too, right? And a bunch of other bars that were along that strip that were quite notorious for this, I suppose. But as far as the gentrification and sort of seeing it, to be honest with you, I haven't been out there for so long because of as you know, living in Florida on and off the last few years as well. I haven't really been part of that community out there. So I'm looking forward to just actually going out there and maybe some old friends, but it'll be interesting now that you brought it to my attention that there's this bigger change. I would probably be better have a better viewpoint to expand on after being out there at least once to kind of see what's going on. So I'll tell you what, let's put a pin in that one. The next time we have an interview, like, hey, why don't we do an interview after the Flamingo show, and we'll ask me that question again, and then I'll have a more informed opinion, for lack of a better term, I guess. I hate that word opinion sometimes. It's just,
I'll bring my recorder that night.
Who cares? Everybody's got,
Yeah, I can come down on this Saturday and I can. Yeah, record the crowd and maybe interview a few people there. And
please do.
Because of all the changes in Vancouver, New West has really stepped up in the last couple of years. They have the Heritage Grill, and a lot of bands play over there. Big B's in New West on Columbia also. So yeah, this is another area. A lot of very, what would you say? A lot of people living there in Surrey, it's the same population as Vancouver. So to get that whole thing, the scene going over there would be awesome. You got the Eagle Ridge out here in the valley and other venues. So yeah, let's get the whole scene going. You know, give people other options. I don't know about Coquitlam, what's going on right now.
Well, there's there's always something going on somewhere. That's kind of the cool thing. I've been seeing a lot more people putting on their own shows, and the artists really supporting each other, and that makes me very happy to see that sort of thing happening, and it's just cool, man. You know,
because that's the only way for the scene to survive, and I guess you say thrive again, is artists supporting each other. It's kind of thing you hear about Victoria, the scene over there, is a lot of the gigs. You go there, and it's a lot of musicians coming to the gigs to support each other. That's what I hear about the whole scene in Victoria. So before I cut you off, so you were saying thrive and survive, thrive, and you're saying evolve. So
yeah, well, that's kind of the way I see it. You know, it's the artistic community is constantly evolving, and because there's always a new artist and people are being inspired, and that's an involvement thing. And life's been real mellow and groovy for everybody since last October 17th. So that's definitely another great evolution amongst Canada and his greatest talent. I don't know. I just crossed my ass for a second there. I had a moment. I wanted to. I kind of lost track of something. I wanted to say there amongst the last little interchange there. So, excuse me. So, as I said, yes. That's what it was. We were talking about. It sounded like you wanted to talk about my Mondays at the Bourbon.
Okay, I just lost it. And listeners, yeah, Steve Stone has the weekly open mic at the Bourbon on Cordova Street, downtown Vancouver. So Steve, is there a lineup? Do you have a scheduled lineup for this week? A lot of people are showing up and just coming up on stage. They talk to you, and then you give them a spot.
That's right. It's just like I used to do at the other bar at the 340. Same sort of thing. You come on in. First come, first serve. I do my best to keep everybody in order. Every Monday from 7 until 11, and sometimes later. And it's good. We've been getting some more musicians coming in there. Some different musicians, some old friends as well coming in, and like to get a few more good people coming on in and enjoying this fantastic talent variety night that we are putting on every Monday. No cover, drink specials. If you perform, you get a drink. And trust me, there's some cool people that hang out there, and when they dig what you're doing, I'll buy you a shot or something too, I'm sure.
Listeners, catch Steve Stone November 24th, Saturday, the Flamingo in Surrey, Wally. Thanks, Steve. It's been great getting the chance to talk with you.
You got it, brother. Okay, and just one more time, let me just say this. Every Monday from 7 till 11 at the Bourbon at 50 West Cordova in Vancouver, in Gastown.